Welcome back to the Rainbow Six Siege Masterclass. Today we're going to talk about bad habits and how to break them. We're going to break this down into a few small, simple steps on how to break mechanically bad habits and more sort of compulsive habits like the shoot and then reload. I've got one bullet missing. Oh, I've took a few shots, then I need to reload after every single engagement. That's a really bad habit, and that's one of the most common examples. Other examples are over-droning, under-droning, and not droning at all. All bad habits and all have separate ways of being broken. But let's get into the OCD reloading. For example, I've known so many amazing players in my time. And some of the best players very rarely need to reload. They're very hyper-aware of their magazine capacity. But some players that are really good don't reload enough. So where is the balance? Well, there is no correct answer to what is the balance. But for me, I have kind of rules set around it. That way, I'm always training myself because I'm very OCD with reloading. For example, if I'm playing in an area and I shoot a few times, maybe I have an engagement, I move off, I have a few burst engagements, and I get to that halfway on the mag capacity, I'm not allowed to pre-fire anymore until I get myself to a safe place, for example. Maybe I work, fight, whatever, get to a safe place, then I can reload. That is the minimum for a reload. If there is dead space and time in between gunfights, so let's say someone pushes me attic, I take the pick, another person pushes me here, I kill the guy on the breach, then I'm going to force myself to reload. I've already got 1, 2, and then 3 picks. Even though I could have enough ammo to potentially take the last 2 people on the board, if it's a 1v5, I still rather have 26 bullets in case I start whiffing, in case that pressure gets to me, in case there's some panic that sets in. I'm creating myself extra cushion, extra room for error in case it happens. It's better to be prepared for something that hasn't happened than to be caught with your pants down and your dick in your hands, essentially. So that's a very common bad habit. Now, another one is with movement. So some people will only move like too close to a door frame, or when they're moving around, they're going to get stuck on things because they're pressing too many of the keys. You only really need to understand how to move. In the beginning, initially, is with A and D. It's like CS. You shouldn't need W and S to peek things. You should be able to peek the door with just A and D. Because you're moving on a horizontal axis, you should be able to control your distance from the door with just A and D. So you can check this and then this with just A and D. And then obviously you can add some quick peeking in the mix of that, and then you add an elevation to that movement. Then you can add the ability to change that distance. But when you are changing the distance, you shouldn't be changing and peaking at the same time because you're going to remove that peak's advantage. You should be moving on one axis, then peaking. And how you can train this is, I would recommend only trying this out in casual matches, because doing this in ranked or standard, probably just going to piss people off. But in casual, it's a safe place to test, or you test it with bots in the map, and you just practice maneuvering through the map with A and D. You can just simply maneuver around with A and D, and it will give you a certain level of spatial awareness. And they're some of the ways of looking at something in a slightly different light, especially if you're moving from angle to angle, right? Let's say I was moving from here to here, but when I do this, I hit the wall and I'm like, oh, where's the door frame? It looks like almost you're drunk when you're moving around the map. It can be a good way of dealing with that, because then you're only working on certain like straight or diagonal lines from where you're aiming, and then you can get a good feel for it. So then when you start to add in leaning, forward and backwards movement, it's done in stages. Now let's talk about droning, and then we'll wrap this video up. So under droning, over droning, and not droning enough. Let's say that the entry point is small tower. I would want, potentially, a pre-placed drone up here, so that I can clear this room, clear this, and then clear down to the space that I may potentially enter. But because of that, I have now isolated 2 spaces very quickly. That's good droning. And that isn't over droning because I don't need to re-drone it. But if I drone this space, drone the hallway, drone kitchen, and then I have to come up and drone tower, and then they take those spaces. That's over droning and bad droning. And droning for too long as well. So let's say I do drone up top here, come down, start droning this out properly. Then I drone this hallway, I drone through the bathroom, and then I come down here, and then I'm droning kitchen. That's just too much. When I made the droning video, I made a point of this as to how to do it efficiently. And that's how you got to look at droning. Otherwise, you become bad at droning, and that is a bad habit to have because droning is so important. Let's say I do drone up the top. I have a quick check on kitchen, or I quickly check shower hallway, and then I drive my drone into kitchen. I come into this space, throw out another drone, and start droning again. That's really good. That means that I've really efficiently droned a huge portion of the map very, very quickly, and I didn't waste too much time. Because as an attacker, time is not on your side, it's on the defender's side. If you spend 2 minutes droning and you drone the entire map, yeah, that's great. You've droned the entire map. You've maybe got some information to your teammates. But now when you push in and just immediately die to the guy that was waiting for you to finish droning the entire map because that guy's got patience, that's a bad feeling. But also, only droning, like this portion of, like, say, small tower, just droning the entry and go, there's no one here. All right, I'm just going to run in and sprint around the map like a lunatic. That's also very bad. So set some criterias for what you have to do when you drone. Same way with the reloading. I have to at least have used half my magazine capacity to warrant a reload unless it's got an opportunistic time after picks and I know that I've cleared the space and I can reload. Let's say that I want to I come in with a goal, essentially. I'm going to drone my entry point, for example, like garage. Okay, once I know garage is clear, and I've got my drone past this point, and I know that there's no one really immediately close, maybe I push in, I get to here, then I can begin droning out the next space. Then I'm going to kind of organize it, okay? This could be a potential threat, this could be, this could be, this could be. Well, I can drone this, I can drone classroom, I can drone upstairs. Then I can leave my drone on the stairs, then I can bring this through. But I've then droned out a reasonable amount of space. But for me, anywhere between 15 and 30 seconds, that space is not safe anymore. Unless I have good audible cues whether someone has pushed into those spaces. And that's pretty much it for today's video. We can go over this more advanced in another video. But for now, we'll keep it simple. Just practice these simple things. See if you maybe had one of these bad habits and you try and improve upon it. Take a week. Try and improve upon it across that week. Other than that, have a great day. As always, links are in the description to Fiverr for one-on-one coaching. See you in the next one.